He's kind of had a rough last year and a half as far as like public perception. What does this do to KU's look?
I don't lump those things together.
Yeah.
So to me, they're separate issues. The fight at the end of the Kansas State game was obviously an ugly incident, and it was something that I think all reasonable people think is unacceptable. And it's not just unacceptable in college basketball; it's unacceptable, period. You know, there's no, outside of the UFC arena or the Golden Gloves, I don't think anybody would condone fighting in a sporting event. So whether it's the NFL, the NBA, college sports, it doesn't really matter. But after, I thought the way everybody handled it was reasonable and in line with what happened. And the issue is, you know, you condemn it, you condemn the action and move on. But I don't sort of link the Snoop Dogg thing and all that. There are rappers that go to Midnight Madness every year. We've been doing this a long time. And so, you know, it's not that Snoop Dogg was at Kansas, therefore there was a fight. That it doesn't work that way.
Is the 12 games, do you feel, is it too much? Is it fair? Is it?
I thought it was in line with what had happened.
Yep.
That Silvio took an action that was unusual to pick up a stool, and everyone's very fortunate that no one was hurt for a variety of reasons. It's not just because of that, but there was culpability all around. You know, nobody walked away from that better than they started. But now that it's over and we've had time to process it, you know, I think there are ways. You know, I made an analogy that if I walk down a dark alley and I get mugged, I think every one of us can agree that that's unacceptable and the mugger should face justice. But after you step away from that and say, okay, well, what can we do better to make sure that doesn't happen again? You say, well, maybe I shouldn't walk down that dark alley. That doesn't mean that the mugging was justified because we say maybe I shouldn't have done it. There are a bunch of things that led to the fight, and you know, I think a lot of people have learned a lot from the incident, and hopefully we'll be better for it.
Just in your opinion, you initially...
Seth probably should say something.
I agree with Joe. I think that, like, quote unquote, the agitators, I mean, you know, let's face it, I mean, forget about it. So I'm not big on the steal, that's a basketball play. The block, that's a basketball play. From that point forward, there was agitation, and I think that all the agitators should have received a, maybe not as severe as Silvio, but maybe a more severe penalty. I think the culpability on the Kansas State kids coming off the bench was egregious. It's just unacceptable. And that can't happen. Silvio standing over after the block, you didn't have to do that. He made a great basketball play. A great basketball play. But from that point forward, the number of agitators that got involved created what ended up in the chaos that resulted thereafter. So it's really disappointing. I think it's something I haven't seen to that extent, to how it escalated. But I think the conference office handled it well. I would have possibly done some different things. I think that the two kids from Kansas State that came off the bench needed to get at least 7 games, maybe 10 games, because they basically were the second instigators or agitators in the back. I think that David McCormick was very fortunate in only 2 games. You know, to me, I know there's inconclusive evidence. I looked at all the video, but from the video that you look at, it's hard not to fathom him swinging down at someone and people are wanting to swing downward. There was also some type of foot action. So the Big Ten gave 3 games to a player that did obviously not something similar, but did something wrong and inappropriate. I was surprised that 2 games, and I coached him in Europe a couple of summers ago, and he was as pleasant a young person as I'd ever been around. So it's unfortunate these type of incidents potentially can define him. I was really surprised that only 2 games.
Seth, we said yesterday that part of maybe why the 12 games happened for Silvio was to make sure he doesn't play in that Kansas State game. I think it's 11 away. Do you think that's an important part of, I guess, determining these types of punishments, either for player safety or for
I think player safety, fan safety, his teammate safety, it probably would not have been a healthy situation for him to have to go to Manhattan. I think that was a common sense thing. I think that the kid James Love is not allowed to travel with the team over the next 8 games. I just, like James Love and I think it's Gordon, I'm not sure where punishment was severe enough, in my opinion, because of the agitation, the aftermath of what they created, it's going to cause some effect.